Hello, is it working? Okay, I think it's working. I just lost my internet connection entirely. It's back now. Alright. Well, we go back. That was unexpected. Hopefully I finished my explanation about everything. Alright. Well, some floor 7 runs going. Hazard trying to get those runs started as well. Okay. Since when is there an end and fin marker on a minimap on the left? I think since today. Basically, the end marker marks the end of floor 16. So that's kind of the final push. So basically, it marks the end of Jumper's floor, and then there's the rest is from Sparkling. What happened? I just lost internet connection. Everything down. But now it's back. Just a short disconnect. Could be some weird router update, yeah. At the worst timing. Oh well, at the very least no one was on like a mega run. So, Lars, Floor 7 meeting Techie's Cat. And then the Turbo Tunnel. Lars actually switched the strategy here, and now, yeah, switches again. Oh, this doesn't look safe at all. I don't know. I feel like it's always just gonna be like, you just hope for the best. You hope for the coin flip to work. Looks pretty regular. Looks kind of scary to me, actually. What is Lars' background? Strong background in RPG maps. Probably the most notable part of this has been running a lot of like long RPG maps, which essentially include similar tricks. A lot of pathfinding, figuring out where to go and what to do, and then also finding like shortcuts and strategies to be a little bit faster. Has been running some really long, like similar length maps as this one for World Records before, and yeah, just like an overall, like a very good Trackmania player, very high level Trackmania player. Really good at random map challenge, which is essentially a challenge where you get to play random maps from the hundreds of thousands or how many ever there are in this game that community has created, and you get a random map, and your goal is to beat the author time on that map. So you try to beat the mapper's own personal best on that map. And then when you beat it, then you move on to the next map, and Lars is really good at this. Really good at figuring out new tricks really quickly, like kind of sight-reading maps. Makes the beam. It is fun, yeah. Super cool game mode. Is Lars going for the safe way or also the shortcut? Oh, this is the shortcut lineup. Lars jumps, makes it. Here we go. Not afraid. Yeah, also good at Pathfinding Cup. The RPG skill set is really good at like all these kinds of things. Is there a beginner version to it? Yes, since yesterday. There is a map that's not easy, but it's called Shallow Dip. And it is meant for players who might not even have played Trackmania before. So that you can check out. It is in the same club You have, when you open the game, you have the clubs menu. You can search for deep dip, and it's gonna have the shallow dip servers that you can play on. Or also in the deep dip campaign, there's gonna be shallow dip there. It's a stretch to let anyone that hasn't played Trackmania play that. Well, it's not to say that it's gonna be easy. It's gonna take a while to finish. It could be like a similar grind as some of these players are having right now, but it is designed so that you don't need to know the mechanics before you go into that map. Unlike on this map, you know, you have to kind of understand how ice slides work. On that map, you don't. You don't need to turtle, you don't need to ice slide, you don't need to do those things. Blessed by Blip. Once more, Lars into the third turtle. We've seen this a few times by now. I'm a new player, spent around 2 to 3 hours and got floor 1 ice slide. Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying that it's gonna be like a one-day grind and then you're fine, but you can kind of experience what these players are experiencing. It's gonna be a grind, you will have to put in time, but it's like, you know, this map is absolutely unfinishable for a new player, right? There's no question about it. The easier version has only floors 0 to 5. It ends at the end of floor 5. So it's much more accessible in already the height. Someone could tell Zivbubs maybe that the stream is actually live. I think there's maybe a need for F5. Or oh, maybe you do have that stream up, I don't know. But sometimes it happens that someone doesn't know that the stream is back live because I did lose connection a few minutes ago. So then they are just looking at the empty screen and... Lars up to floor 9 now. Not surprising. Very consistent, very good. Thank you guys. Just to be sure. Trackmania does look deceivingly easy for sure. Okay, there we are then. I remember one specific case where someone was in the stream chat and I had been live for like 30 minutes, and at that point they noticed that the stream was actually live and not everyone was just chatting like in offline chat. Like they were looking at like a paused screen for 30 minutes waiting for the stream to start, and yeah, it happens sometimes. So just making sure. Happened to you? Yeah. The brakes are pretty weak in this game, yes. There we go. Lars gets through. Now for the final few floor 9 sections. What do you recommend for new players who want to get into the game? So, if you want to try it for free, you can try out the couple first campaign maps. But if you already have the paid access, you can, for example, try my campaign that I built last year, called SB Villa Campaign 23, and it's been very well received by new players. Essentially covers like all the main styles in the game through 25 maps. And should be challenging, but not too hard. Lars, high jump line with the low jump line kind of works great this time. Really good speed there. Makes it to the platform and keeps going now. official campaign maps are a bit on and off. They might not really cover like every important style, and sometimes the, you know, maps themselves are a little bit weird as well. But been getting better, for sure. Lars, oof, barely landing it. Clipped the wall there, but let's make it through. And gets the jump up to floor 10 as well. You hunt your author times. For my campaign, the author times are specifically kind of calculated to be close to the official campaign author times. But then there are challenge times, which are my actual personal bests. Those are not like normal medal times, but you can have a plugin. You can have a plugin that shows you the challenge times, and you can try to beat those. Lars? Back to floor 10 and doing the same old ice parts for, I don't know, 10th time today. Let's see how it goes now. Oh, thank you, Tony. Glad you enjoyed. Going through, landing, looks clean. Lars still crashing this barrier for safety. A lot of players kind of skipping that as well now. Into the dirt. We keep climbing. Hi, Butello. Any loss of interest in DP2? No, not at all. We're discovering something new every day. I'm very interested in this whole journey still. Now the low line on the pipe and jump works great. Then into the spin. Brand is discovering something new every day, sure. It was also Lars yesterday though. You think it will be a close finish? I think so, yeah. Gets the second gear, the spin timing is great, land in the ice slide, there we go. Now into the plastic and then the final half pipes yet again. Do you reckon the finishing top 3 will be the current top 3? Too early to say. I feel like Bren and probably Hazard as well, but most likely at least Bren will be in top 3 for sure. But then it gets tricky. Elcon, Lars, Virtual, Scrappy, Scandier, even Simo as well could still climb back for sure. Lars might have gotten a small slowdown in that landing, I'm not sure. Couple wiggles. Is just fine. I don't think there was a slowdown. You can get it if you land between like 2 blocks. There's like a small wall that can kind of register like a crash called a landing bug. But doesn't happen this time. As a beginner, I just got my PB on shallow dip to 274 meters. That seems really good. Very nice. Keep it up. Here we go. Now the quarter pipe has failed this before today, but this time it works great. Very tricky landing, but It will be on point this time. Lands pretty far into the loop, but this could still be just enough. Yeah, it will go into the pool. Weird flip, but you know, there we are. Thank you, Mo, for the gift. And now for the big jump. We were talking about this just before my internet lost connection. Well, let's see. Lars will be lining up to the left side, trying to clip the left back wheel onto the wall. Really good. Really nicely done. The car just flips really clean onto the platform, and we go into the plastic again. Now trying to aim the car heavily downwards. Really clean. Oh no. Oh no. But the car flips back up. Saves it on floor 8 plastic. That's unlucky. Because... Okay. So, why do we even need to go upside down? Because as you drive with wheels, you lose speed because you're drifting. On plastic, you're essentially always going to be drifting. So as you drift, you will lose speed. Unlike when you go upside down, you kind of bounce and slide around, and you don't lose speed. So that's the first thing. But why does it flip is because it somehow, even though there was super clean entry, it somehow like got bouncy anyway. I suppose it somehow like landed a little bit off anyway. And then it kind of kept bouncing, and then bounced upright, lost too much speed, and then the jump is too short. It's... yeah. Very unlikely to happen. But well, the run continues. Didn't air brake. I don't know if you really need to air brake. The transition should be clean enough without it, but... yeah, I've never seen that happen before. Not with this kind of line. I mean, Lars has been really consistent on that, so has a good strategy for sure. And yeah, like, especially if the car turns so that it's like facing backwards and you keep pressing forwards, it's gonna slow down even more, yeah. Tomorrow is indeed the desert car release. New alternative car, not really like a main thing, but we'll probably see it being used in a bunch of maps. Elcon has played earlier today, but not on the server and not on the stream. We've seen it on the plugin. Well, Lazard run here. Looking promising. Jumping into the window, both will land it. I am indeed, Dragon. Lost my connection, internet connection for a while, but here we are again. Luckily not for too long. Well, both have been doing these two floors, floor 8 and 9, much more than necessary. Lars almost falls off here though. But it's a solid landing still. Hazard will be able to get this one started a bit earlier. Oh, Lars! Oh no, Lars! Oh god. Well, this is recoverable. You need to drift over. There is a skip that can be done. You can get directly onto the beam, but this is risky to try. Lars tries it. Oh, will drop off. Turtle will be controllable. Now just needs to time it against the wall. Does it well. So Lars will be going back to the beginning of the floor. The risk, the risk, trying to get that shortcut, doesn't punish too much. Let's see now. Hazard currently top 2 on this map in terms of progress and also in terms of height. And Bren top 1, Lars currently on top 3. I haven't seen anyone do it. I only heard that Simo has been able to do it. But yeah, I feel like Simo might be the only one to actually get that shortcut. Oh, Hazard. Jumps up and gets the landing. Here we go. Now a little bit easier jump. And then into the quarter pipes. He didn't want to go for the shortcut. Oh, I definitely believe that. Like, I don't think Lars meant to intentionally drop on the turbo. Hazard here going for the high jump line, by the way. It's very unique at this point. That's what people were initially doing. Oof, barely lands it. But yeah, Hazard... Probably the only one doing it now. But yeah, I don't think Lars wanted to go for the shortcut, but you know... accidentally fell down on the turbo and then definitely did try for the shortcuts. But the recovery way down is fine as well. What would you change for Deep Dip 3 if you were in charge of it? I don't know if you're gonna build a tower anymore. I feel like maybe you figure out another sort of design. Some other cool format for this kind of a survival map. I'm not really sure. Maybe you could build from top down somehow. It could be really interesting. I don't know. There's probably some other concepts that could work. But yeah, I honestly feel like... Oh, Lars, by the way. Lars has made a mistake. Floor 6 may be able to save the turtle. Well, it's still alive. Just needs to... Oh, barely misses out. Not able to control that. Was a good try, but yeah. Gonna be Hazard now. Trying to get the runs going. Yeah, I feel like this is the ultimate tower. I feel like you're not able to top this as an experience. Would be very difficult, but maybe it could work. Doesn't necessarily need to top this, right? Can you do a quick recap of how far Bren got on floor 14? Sure. You can also check the watercourt clip, but I can explain it in just a moment. We're gonna follow Hazard through this run first, though. Need to stay hydrated. Well, I spin. How's it gonna go? Spin works. Is it enough speed? It looks a little slow. Still makes it. Nicely done. And we go through. Could be like multiple towers, yeah. That could be a small sort of variation. Now onto the half pipes. Turnaround timing might be a little close to the edge, but Hazard saves it still. Now around onto the plastic. Landing looks good. Makes it. And the bounce works. Here we go. Back to floor 11. I've been seeing these runs get to this point so often now. Lining up next to the light here, and then to the quarter pipe. One of the tough parts in this early floor 11 makes it work though. No issue. Oh, the landing here though is a little early and Hazard will have to do this back up. It is absolutely doable, just needs to check the position exactly. Drops down slowly here, front wheels first, to make sure the car doesn't flip in an unpredictable way. Usually these landings are safest when you go front wheels first, a little bit so that the car doesn't also flip backwards with the front wheels, so seems to work pretty nicely. Jumping again. Back we go. Now landing very close. Will work. Has to slow down slightly. I haven't seen anyone go too fast on this slope with like an absolute perfect landing. But it's definitely being close. Close to the edge of the pool. Hardest floor so far. I guess it has to be 11, just considering how many days we were stuck on it compared to the next two. Here, Hazard. Again. Lands very nicely. Not the back wheel clip this time, but it works regardless. So then, zooming down here, that looks like a super clean line. Car not bouncing at all. That's kind of what happened to Lars. That's not the result that you want, where the car is sort of bouncing back and forth. If you get this clean slide, that's going to be safe every time. No issue with these. And then landing the spin jump. Very good. No problem. Landing. And landing. Very clean lines. And then just the final ring. 3 is probably the easiest floor if we don't count 0, yeah. Just by watching it, like, just by judging, like, the mechanics there. Like, it is difficult to get into because of the weird wet wheel, ice wheel plastic. But once you pick it up, like, yeah, it's probably the floor where least mistakes happen. Oh, Hazard again with this weird plastic bounce. Weird bounce, but hey, it works. And we are getting another try on floor 12. Already happened before for Hazard. Edges of water blocks are plastic, and if you land them very specifically, you can bounce to the other direction like this as well. Plastic, very bouncy, so going to happen. Well, Hazard already through the first part here. Now just the clean lines, no issues at all. only needs this one attempt to get that start perfectly, which is really impressive. And the line, it's good. Yeah, not needing to redo the line anymore. We kind of saw the earlier attempts on this floor where players would kind of try out the line and then, you know, go a little bit back and then try it again and go back, but this is perfect as well. Hazard, super, super clean. Everything first try so far. Landing. Oh. That should be good enough still. And the loop into the turbo. Another one shot. That one is harder to adjust your line on anyway. Usually the mistake that you do is not to get like a bad line, but is to clip the first ramp landing there. So usually not really retryable. Second last part here. Again, a clean landing. Final jump. Into the turbo on the left side, and then just a straight line landing into floor 13. Highlights trace, and we were kind of wondering about this one. Are we seeing the right ways being done? Are we, you know, missing something? But, well, right now we know that this floor can be cleared with the route we have, and that's good enough. Into this spin, 360 into the turbo, getting grip on the red turbo, very powerful even in this super steep angle, and then jumping over onto the side, jumping through, landing, and then the bobsleigh loop. Oh, that's not the best landing, but if it makes the loop, it's gonna be good enough. Yeah, so you will just stay for a couple more loops here. We go around, we'll just build a bit more speed. The turbo at the bottom just makes you faster all the time, so one more, I think, and maybe two. Water now. Such a ridiculous section on this map, but I kind of like it. Oh god. And then we go wood section next. Super high grip surface, fast turn rate. You need to be a little bit careful. It's easy to do like one tap too much on wood. Here we go. And now the shortcut, lining it up here. Whether this is intentional or unintentional, we don't know, and we don't care, because we know that it works. We know that we can clear this floor with it, so we just see the players do it now. Now, closer to the plastic bounce again, which has been figured out. There is a strategy that seems very consistent now. Sometimes can fail still, as everything can fail on this map, but seems like Hazard did find a really good strat for it, and Bren and Lars have made it work as well. Would this be the hardest map that Hazard has beaten? So there are probably harder, like, maps mechanically. Like, you know, just like more speed-checked maps, more difficult things to do, more difficult, like, techniques. Let's see the plastic punch now. And I'll finish the thought after. Air braking right there. Actually, not even needing the air brake, it seems. Works nicely. It just goes right into the next part as well. Really, really nicely figured out. It looks so consistent now. Effortless. Going into the half pipe. And now turning the car to the side into the plastic. Looks like a great line here. Now the bounce into the pool. It will work. We keep going. So yeah, the difference between like more mechanically difficult maps is that you usually have checkpoints, and they're usually shorter maps in terms of like the amount of sections, right? So it's kind of depends on how you define it, I suppose. Wet wheel plastic. Hazard has cleared this floor, yes. Earlier today. Now onto the dirt. No reason to delay. We go into the wall right. Looks to be enough speed. Goes around and lands yet again. For the second time onto this ramp. And now we going through. Final part of the floor. Onto the plastic. Turn around. Landing into the quarter pipe. And then hopefully avoiding the wet wheels. Here, the hidden pool, you need to land far enough on the plastic to avoid it. You can do it with wet wheels as well, Bren has done it earlier, but doesn't help. Truly is not making things any easier. So, Hazard does jump far enough, doesn't have the wet wheels, now the pipe bounce into the pool works great. And now just the ice remaining here. And we're back to floor 14. Onto the ice, hitting the pole, and it doesn't fall off. That was a bit close, but works out. Slow down from that pole, essential, because you have ice everywhere there, so... Well, no time to delay, we're on Virus floor. Floor 14 has been reached earlier today by both Bren and Hazard. And here we are, back again. This trick, pretty scary. You need to clip into the hole and bounce over. Hazard goes very far. Can he climb through still? Yes. Very rough getting that bounce off the hole without falling into the hole, but that's what you need to do. So, Hazard has done it nicely. And now the turbo walls. So, just like we kind of went through in the beginning of this session, you hit this turbo, and as soon as you get contact with the wall, the turbo will activate, in a sense. So you need to be in contact with a wall or on the ground for those turbos to do anything. So you go in and the turbo will keep pushing you, you backflip because of the red turbo being so strong. Here as well, we have another red turbo, which will push you towards the wall, and with that push, you will eventually just zoom up and backflip here. So, this is Hazard's personal best. This is the section. Hazard failed the quarter pipe earlier. You need to jump over here. Hazard didn't make the line and fell down there on the smiley pool. Smiley face pool. We hope that we don't get there again. There is a recovery to floor 11 if you do fail it. So it is the beginning part of floor 11. But we hope that it works. Jumping up. Oh, it barely lands. This will be recoverable, but it's not going to let Hazard clear this section. So now we probably try something else. Recovery. Going back over here. Oh, a bit high on this one. How's it gonna land? Don't tell me it's stuck on the lamp. Oh no. Oh god. There is this small thing here. And the car will not fit through here. I don't think there's much to do. I suppose you can try, like, you know, maybe the wheels do grip the wall. You can maybe drive backwards and try to do something. Maybe at best you can land into that smiley pool, but doesn't look very promising. You definitely can't get forward from here. That's for sure. Well, now we know. Now we know that the speed you get from this recovery path is much more than what you actually need. There could also be another path here. Yeah, from here you can get over to the pool. So you could potentially like go here and then jump to the pool and retry this part too. So I suppose there's another option. There's a jump on the left. Oh, here, yeah, into this pool. Okay, yeah, fair. Multiple ways. Yeah, this pool over here. And then jumping over here. Yep. Then you're basically back. Well, this time it's gonna be like this though. Don't really think there's all that much you can do in this situation. I mean, it would have been a fast save if it worked, but yeah, the lamp, unfortunately. Hazard's still looking pretty great though, overall. Yeah, trying to go backwards now. Any kind of steering to get grip. Don't think there's all that much. Even if the back wheels do have grip, it's probably not enough. Weirder things have happened, like Lars's tree save earlier. Snow unturtle, whatever. But this looks kind of rough, honestly. And we go back as well, yeah. Well, was a good run though from Hazard. It happens. +1 information, we will say. Now we know. It is technically a personal best in the sense that Hazard did land on the other quarter pipe. So in some sense, tiny personal best. Didn't clear the entire section, I suppose, but you know, still. How's Hobbit doing? Duck, jump. Doing pretty nicely. Personal best is 857, which is generally speaking the beam landing on floor 8. What it usually is going to be. Could still technically be on the floor 7 as well, I think. How is his time for where he is? 17 minutes? Not bad at all. Of course, we don't know if there were any recoveries or any things like that, but yeah, I'm not 100% what the best pace up to this floor is, but it's probably somewhere like 12-13 minutes or even a little bit faster. Maybe like 11 minutes even. What's the predicted clear time? It's hard to say. Because we don't really know if there's gonna be an like a obstacle that completely stops us for like 3 days. Just like, you know, the plastic half-pipe on floor 11 was. Too hard to say. Elcom was playing earlier today. Is a little bit off. Hopefully it makes the recovery. I think Hobbit does actually a pretty good choice there, slowing down a little bit more. Knows that it's gonna be off and not quite sure if it's even gonna land on this ledge, so just slowing down the car so it lands for sure directly into the quarter pipe. That was good thinking. No, yeah, I mean the prediction probably isn't super good if it's just based on like how the sort of progression has been going. It could be that there's some trick on floor 15 that looks fairly simple, but will get us stuck for like 4 days, because we don't know how exactly to do it. It's happened before. Is red here still, maybe? Back to the ducks. I guess not. Let me do this real quick then. Have been streaming a lot, grinding the map. And honestly, Have is probably a world record contender eventually. Recap? Sure. So we just saw Hazard do the runs through floor 14, and that was Hazard's personal best as well. So we saw these quarter pipes. From here, you need to land clean, jump over to this beam, and Bren has made it. Bren also has, earlier today, done this part, landing onto these platforms over here, then another quarter pipe jump around the ramp, and we have another turbo wall that pushes you upwards and gets you all the way to the pool. Bren has cleared that part as well. Then you go here, get a straight setup line, and then more turbos. The car gets a mega boost, flips upside down, bounces on this plastic, goes over the ice, bounces on these two plastic blocks, and lands in the pool. And this is basically the furthest we've been. Bren has tried this next part into this quarter pipe jump here, but hasn't cleared it yet. So yeah, that's the next thing to sort of figure out. And it's still a little bit open what exactly you need to do here. Could be a bunch. But it seems like I don't really see many other ways here other than just taking the quarter pipe jump and landing here. Landing into this corner. Yeah, like this seems like the most logical thing. Take speed from all the way here, get a clean line here, and then just a perfect turn that jumps you, throws you up here, into the corner. And then you take speed from here, go over to this road, probably. Land on these, take speed, jump over here sideways, speed from the turbo, again turbos that push you to the ceiling, and then you land to the water, and then take speed, clean jump from here to there. That seems to be it. This seems like a really big jump though, so I don't know if there could be something more to this. Something else, I don't really know. But that would make sense. If this jump is doable, then yeah, that would make sense. This is floor 15. Floor 15 by Kubas, who has been also playing on the server. Hasn't been, you know, revealing any new strats because the mappers aren't supposed to do that. But a very good player. We'll see. What plastic? Half pipe was a struggle on floor 11. This one. Going from here into the pool. It is still hard. Difficult line. You start from here, land into this wall, and then go all the way down, zoop through upside down into the pool. Very tricky. Did Kubas play Deep Deep 1? I can't remember. I'm only a Deep Deep 2 historian, unfortunately. Granadi personal best should be the final part of floor 9. So Granadi not super close just yet. So from what I've seen, and if it still stands, Granadi has made it all the way to this final part of floor 9. Going over here, landing here, jumping up. So Granadi was a little bit short on this jump, crashed this wall and fell down. The double beam landing, I suppose. Kubas was a mapper on Deep Deep 1. Okay, yeah. Can you tell some stories about mappers? Like who's the most famous? Oh, Granadi, that doesn't look like a landing at all. Goes all the way down. Oh, turtle, savable if Granadi can do it fast enough. Nah, that looks like it's over. Let's see how Hove does it. Granadi's playing with a wheel, but for these turtle sections, switches to a keyboard. It's a difficult jump. Hove, definitely too slow. Oh, commits a little bit too early. This could be a personal best for Hove. Needs more speed, for sure. Oh, careful now. Careful with the turnarounds. Don't want to just fall off the edge. We've seen those happen as well. It's, you know, when you need to do these long runs, eventually will happen. So yeah, Techie, for example, who built floor 7, is mostly known as a player. We have a lot of these mappers actually better known as players, I think, like Kubas as well, a really good player in like Kaki maps, and Techie as well, has won a Kaki season last year. So overall, I feel like Techie likes to build very weird stuff. Has built some Kaki maps as well, with some backwards parts and plastic bounces before, and we kind of see backwards parts and plastic bounces on floor 7 as well. Viro, really creative mapper. Oh, Hove is still too slow. That's gonna be all the way down, I think. Nothing really to land to. Was a good attempt. Was a good attempt. It's a very difficult section. So, yeah, Viro, really creative mapper, and we can kind of see it on the turbo walls that Viro has based the whole floor 14 around. It seems very creative for sure, and it's very different again. Whiskey has been building a lot of like competition maps historically. Has been building like more traditional maps a little bit more, but also has been building some trial maps recently, and floor 12 we can kind of see that like classic trial style where there's just like these sort of platforming sections, pretty intuitive jumps at the end of the day, but you just need to be very precise, very sort of accurate with your lines and minimizing airtime and all these kinds of like classic skill checks. Sparkling, the main organizer of the project, built Floor 0 and the final jump, as well as Floor 4. Sparkling has built a lot of like more traditional maps as well. Kind of like these track of the day style maps before. But also, you know, seems to really like to experiment with these kinds of projects. It kind of takes like an experimental mind to try to build these kinds of towers. A lot of different kinds of mappers. Thank you, SMB, for the gift up. Appreciate it. Vito's rare map archive is one of the most cursed TMX accounts. It is great. I've played a bunch of them. They're great. Yeah, Sparkling is the mastermind, we could say, behind the whole tower sort of concept. Going all the way back to the Bennett VOD map, which was the first tower they built, as far as I know. Was supposed to be kind of like a getting over it inspired map, and then it kind of snowballed from there. It is still very getting over it inspired, of course. Any big updates today? Yes. Lars doing a shortcut. That's an update. Virtual has been doing it as well, and more people are starting to do this floor 8 big jump. And yeah, in terms of the actual map progression, Bren and Hazard have been to floor 14. Hazard very recently, Bren earlier today, and did manage to get pretty far there as well. So we are about 2/3 through floor 14 already. That's basically it. So it's been a productive day. What cut? So generally, we saw Lars do this quarterpipe jump, right? Going right up here. And it's an intentional shortcut. It's meant to be done. But you can also jump to the right, go through these tunnels, go up here, jump over here, and do this tunnel, and it gets you to the same place. So it's kind of like a risky line that saves time, basically. But players are just now starting to do it, like, on every run, basically. Yeah, there you go, Ion. Doesn't seem to be that difficult. Bren did the cut today and said he wouldn't do it again, just felt needlessly risky to him in case he got a slowdown. Yeah, like, the thing about it is that it doesn't skip anything difficult. Everything that you have to do when you don't do the shortcut is kind of trivial in the context of this map. You just kind of drive through those tunnels and there's really very few things you can fail. We do see the good job thing, yeah. Should see that. Bren has water guard. How much time they need now for a finish? Well, I haven't scouted through the final floor yet, so I don't know. I don't know for sure, but I don't think this week will be enough. But if I am to throw some kind of a prediction, I'm gonna guess next week. I think next week someone will finish the map. That's gonna be my very uneducated guess. We're gonna check the floor 16 once the players get to floor 15. I think once the first player gets to floor 15, we're gonna scout the entire rest of the map and try to figure things out. It might happen pretty soon as well. Bren might even get it tomorrow, floor 15. But yeah, the final floor, the hardest floor. Supposedly, anyway. Why aren't Trackmania pros getting tilted of this? Because they're the pros. Oh, Lars gets the landing. Like, you sort of answered your own question there, in a way. To be a pro in a map like this, in a survival challenge like this, you need to have the mental side figured out as well. This challenge, first and foremost, is a mental challenge. Of course, like, you do need those thousands of hours of Trackmania experience. But you have to be able to, like, not give up. That's it. And, you know, sometimes you do get frustrated, of course, that's part of the grind. But, like, the reason why we still see these players climb is because they are the top players. And they are able to do these grinds. If you're not able to do these grinds, you will not become a top player. Because the grind is always going to be required to improve at the game. So before this, it wasn't Deep Dip 2, it was like some other map. It was some campaign, it was some author time, it was some competition. These kinds of players go through this kind of grind all the time. It just takes different forms. Great speed. So the end word here on the left side, that marks the end of floor 16. From end to fin, that's basically the final section that Sparkling built. So 16 to end, Jumper's portion, Jumper's floor, and end to fin is Sparkling's final ending thing. Would you say that Bren is the overall GOAT? I'm not really comfortable saying that anyone in Trackmania overall would be that. Like, there's, you know, Carl Jr., for example, definitely the greatest of all time, if we just look at, like, competitive achievements. But then there's going to be other aspects of the game that I don't feel are less valuable. There are, like, other styles, other tournaments where there are going to be a completely different, like, group of players that are at the top of that style. So it kind of depends what you think Trackmania is. If the competitive meta changed to, like, a new style tomorrow, then there would be another champion. Bren probably is the greatest of all time in terms of Deep Dip so far. Currently has the world record and has one Deep Dip 1, so that would be, you know, reasonable to say. Top 5 is Bren and Hazard on floor 14, Bren a little bit further. Lars on the very final part of floor 13, Elcon somewhere on floor 13 as well. And then it's gonna be Virtual. Virtual, I believe, on 12. Still. Lars landing in. And then the ice slide into the spin. No issue with this floor. Really, really consistent. I'm getting freezes. I don't know why. Trackmania moment. Oh well. We'll follow. Landing clean onto the plastic. Then the half pipes. Turnaround timing, super important to do it as late as possible, super close to the edge there, but does manage to do it, and now into the plastic, needs to correct the line a little bit, but a couple of wiggles to increase the speed should be enough. And there we go, floor 11. Try casting in solo mode without streaming. Oh, good idea. Maybe that could improve my FPS. Yeah. Maybe off the server as well, you know? I guess that's what you meant by solo mode. Well, Lars back to 11. Has been making a couple mistakes on this floor before, but we'll see how it goes this time. The start is clean. Lines up next to the light there, and then clean landing. That looks very good. Lars doing nicely. Then into the half loop. There should be plenty of speed here. And release acceleration fairly early there. Speeding up. But the lineup here is pretty established. Next to the light, you start going forward, then the landing and the back wheel clip. Doesn't quite hit it, but still good enough. Will still land. It's not entirely necessary, just makes it a little bit safer still. Then into the plastic. Hopefully no weird bounces this time. Looks a lot better. We get into the pool. Clean landing, clean line. Works well. Water pipes here. The thing you need to be careful with on this first one is to not jump too far. Basically everything else goes, because once you jump here, you will generally drop down into the pool below if you fail something. So, no issue. Massa there on the side falling, so Lars will be alone for quite a bit. Jumping down, the spin strat looks to work. Hazard's find, and it's been so useful. Keep going. Into this tricky speed check. Looks good enough. Should land for sure. Very clean. We go back. Again, keeping the second gear is the goal. Third gear could result in a slowdown, so it's better to try not to go over that 160 speed. Very careful. Starting acceleration here. 159, 160, just about, and it works very well. Lars. It's one jump, and it's back to floor 12. There we go. Has figured these things out, looking very good overall. Bren and Hazard have discovered the most, Elcon, probably the third one then. Here we go. Clean landing on the ramp. White line looks very good. 200 speed just about. Even 190 seems to be enough, so works very well. So then, next to this Trackmania sign on the side, I don't know, there could be a slightly different setup as well, but as long as you set the car next to this one, it's gonna be just about the right speed. Dropping down, turn around, and now aiming for the moving block in the ceiling. Gets it as well. Well done. Then just minimal airtime. Only accelerate on ground, so any kind of airtime here might ruin your run. Lars going downhill and gets very good line there. Drifting through. Works well. Into the ramp. Now getting the red turbo into the loop. Just a careful line here. Not really a huge problem getting these lines. So now we get to the white line. Just need to make sure you get enough speed for this whole drop. Dropping into the ramp. And then just a clean line makes it look easy. So then, one final part. Not really as much of a speed check, but need to make sure you land on the turbo, get the left side line and the landing here. Floor 13, there we go. And Lars, that's the final floor that Lars has cleared, or has not cleared, rather. First onto the ring and then around. Good landing there. Go around, get the speed. Has struggled once with this flip. Now just needs to get it done, landing clean onto turbo. That is very nice. Jumping through onto the side. You should now make it to the bobsleigh loop. Oh, here we go. It's gonna be 4 loops, maybe more, doesn't really seem to matter. 4 loops at least is what the players have been going for. So you just take the turbo, keep increasing the speed, and then once you feel like it's fast enough, you go onto the right side, onto plastic. Very nice lane. It looks scary, but it's been working really nicely. Really a pathfinding challenge, this floor. Not so easy to see the way here, and we're still not quite sure if we got it right, but it's close enough. At the very least, we know that with these strategies, we can finish the floor. So landing sideways here. Now, again on the wood. Need to be a little bit careful. Careful steering, because the turn rate on this surface is so fast. Kind of ridiculously fast. And now, Lars will line up for the shortcut. This seems to be the intended path, going for these weird wall ride things here. But Lars drops down forward, and we can skip that part. We still don't quite know if that's intentional, if we're supposed to do that. But that's what we're doing. Not really stopping anymore. Keeps going. Yeah, we know that this path works, basically, so that's good enough. Thank you, SMB, for the gift. We know that this works. We know that we can get to the next part from here, and we know that the next part leads to the end of the floor. So, good enough. Lars needs to do one more high jump here. Taking speed through the turbos, into the jump, landing here. Last time landed on this red block here. And what happened is that Lars tried to correct the line to the left, but unfortunately didn't get the grip anymore after that sharp left turn on this steep block, and lost the grip, fell down here, and unfortunately landed in the middle of the crystals, wasn't able to continue. So now the goal is going to be to correct the line a little bit. Jump a little bit more to the left. Landing looks a lot better. Oh, Lars. Oh no! Lars lost the grip again. What happened? On the lamp. Well, not many ways to go from here. Floor 9, maybe floor 5, I think it's gonna be, if anything. No. Dodges absolutely everything there. It's gonna be floor 2 then. Bouncing around. Will land it as well. What happened? Was there some input issue? Turned constantly, you think? Because we haven't really had this issue with others. Holds brake when he lands. This kind of a landing is hard to get intuition for. But I don't think it's much more than just acceleration. We can check the clip, thank you. So, clip time. So, accelerating here still. But yeah, braking. The brake tap. That looks strange. Like here in the landing. So steering to the left there, that makes sense because the car is angled to the right side, right? So you kind of like compensate for that. You make sure that the car doesn't steer too much to the right side. So that makes sense. But then here, holding brake. And that, yeah. I wonder if Lars wanted to do like a sideways landing. So okay, maybe this is kind of what happened. Yeah, tried to brake because he failed the last one. But it was probably the brake that made it also not work there. So I think at this point, you know, Lars is trying to turn the car sideways so you can like then climb up safely. But it's just too steep to do that when you don't have any speed. You already kind of have 0 speed and now you're pressing brake as well, so then you lose the grip. Yeah, I think it just needs to be like you just go up. You just have to accelerate. I don't think you want to try any like sideways landing. But well, now we know. Kind of hard to say without trying it out, I suppose. But yeah. definitely the brake tap. Brake tap the issue there. Unfortunate. Unfortunate, especially because Lars has been very consistent on the plastic bounce before. Has been also making a really good work with the rest of the floor on the previous PB run. Didn't seem to have huge trouble with all of this. Good night, Mitch. Not quite there. It's a reminder. It's a reminder, of course, that oh, Granadi. Oh, that's not the. I don't know what happened there. That was okay. That was interesting. I'm not sure at all what that was. Maybe just the wrong line. Wasn't able to break and then just sent it. Maybe I don't know. Anyway, yeah, it's kind of a reminder that like one missed input at any point of this map can make you fall all the way down. So when you know, do these 30-minute climbs up to the next floor. Yeah, you can go insta, you can chain it. True. But usually it's on the left side, right? Is there enough space on the right side to actually do it? Like, for example, the floor record, floor 7, it is to jump here and then go on the left side and land it here. Easy on right? Oh, really? Okay. Looks like it might be a little bit tougher to get the height before this landing happens, right? But I suppose it works. We can take a quick look at the floor record, actually. Here. It's so hard to find anything here. So, floors 0 to 7 have been released as like official practice floors. And some people have been playing this one Verton with the water guard. Very much just chaining everything already. Going over the turbo here, no issue. You don't really need too much speed here anyway, so you know. Oh, good setup on the right side actually. That's pretty clever because then it's a shorter line to the next part. Smart. Good landing here. Drift setup here. Yeah, we don't really see these strats on the full map yet, but maybe eventually. Plastic bounce, no problem. The turbo tunnel, probably without the ice slide, as this is faster to set up. Honestly, a lot of the time this looks a little bit safer as well. It really seems like the ice slide strat results in more mistakes for a lot of players than the sort of full send sideways strat. So here, jumping. Oh, that's a weird landing. Oh, okay. So this run actually doesn't chain it. I wonder if Juliano does. Yeah, Juliano does chain it, but on the left side. So this is something that we can see people do. Oh yeah, Granadi is here as well. Actually, true. Yeah, it is the right side. Oh, okay. Yeah, you do get enough height. That's true. Yeah, it's kind of unintuitive. Almost looks like the ceiling is a little bit too early there, but yeah, no problem. Clever. New struts. And I think it's actually really important that we have this floor 7 practice floor, because it's so unrecoverable. Like, you know, you fail this hole, for example, this jump here, you fall back, there's absolutely nothing you can do. It's always down to floor 4, maybe floor 3, maybe floor 6 if you're really lucky, but that rarely happens. There's like a couple designed recoveries, like here, if you fail this one, you can land here and go back to the beginning of the floor. But, like, those are pretty rare. Even if you, like... Even if you fail the turbo tunnel, it's again, like, back to floor 4 at best. So, a lot of these tricky sections that we see people fail quite a bit, they are, like, just very difficult. I'm gonna restart my game real quick. So it really does seem like this floor 7 practice might actually be a game changer for some people. Floor 6 maybe less so, because floor 6 again more recoverable. Floor 8 I don't think is really gonna change much. The next practice floor that will actually change things is going to be floor 10. For some. But not everyone, for sure. Like, you know, some players are really good at floor 10 right now, but there are still players that are trying to learn the strats there for the first time. And probably some players who are struggling even though they have been making it past that floor. But yeah, obviously floor 11 will be pretty big, but I honestly don't know if floor 11 will be released before the competition is already over. And at this point, like, it's the strats there are pretty set in stone. SP stands for Speedball, which is a Trackmania game mode. It's a 3 versus 3 game mode that I used to play. Like this floor 6, for example, if you fail this next part, you can easily recover. Lars should have enough speed. But yeah, you can just go back to the plastic bounce, start again. So, really just so much more forgiving. Does the practice map being released allow people to use editor for those floors too? No. They only can practice on the official map. Lars to the ducks seems to work just fine. So here we go again, floor 7. Lars has struggled especially on the turbo tunnel, but interestingly Lars has changed the strategy. So Lars no longer going for the ice slide setup, but actually going for the, like, centered full speed sort of line, where you just try to keep the car away from the walls and turn it and not press anything. It's been working, but it's shaky. Is there a Trackmania equivalent of Deep Dip? We do have a bunch of tower maps. There was a Getting Over It map as well. There's like a bunch of tower stuff, yeah. I once built a tower map that was on the scale of this map was maybe 50 meters tall, so maybe like 1/20th or something, 1/40th of this one, I don't know. For some players it took like 10 hours to finish. Some top players. It was truly horrible. I think it's probably my most hated map I've ever built. It is very difficult. Well, Lars, a little bit on the edge. This might not make it... Oh yeah, it's right on the wall. Oh, the wooden grip. Okay, Lars does land it. This surface, truly ridiculous. That's just the high grip of these new wooden surfaces that the developers of the game updated in November. Why am I here? When I'm trying to stay here. So all of these walls where you see the plank pattern, they have the ridiculous grip, and if you get some specific grip on the wheels on it, then yeah, it can... There's weird stuff. Hazard on 13. Oh yeah, Hazard not on the server, apparently. Well, Lars back to floor 6. Final jump. The sides, the wooden pillars are always this new surface, yes. Oh, Lars, will be able to recover this? Wanted to say I appreciate the casting. Thanks, man. No problem. Etor. Vent is one of the best things ever happening in this game. It's pretty wild, yeah. It's pretty crazy. My personal best is on the start line of the map. Wet plastic here, seen it time and time again. Never gets that easy. Wet plastic, extremely slippery. Hard to correct your line there. Here, your wheels are dry, so this plastic, for example, works in a different way. The fin is the actual end of the map. The end thing marks the end of floor 16. And then there's like a couple things to do after floor 16 to finish the map. Final jump and stuff. End is maybe a little bit of a misleading word. But you know, only so many things you can fit in 3 letters, I suppose. It's very nice how players adapted to this line as well. Instead of doing the plastic bounce that everyone was kind of doing initially, they are releasing so they land safely in the pool. Because if you land here on the road and you land upside down, the car will never flip. But if you land into the water and you're able to, you know, stay there as well, the car doesn't glide over to the road, then the car will always be able to flip. So as long as any part of the car is touching water, you will be able to flip it in like a weird, goofy way. Lars, a bit too high on that transition, so now we go for the scary beam save. Needs to go over this one, it's always so cursed. The main problem after getting onto this beam is saving yourself onto this platform, but many people have done it before. Might take a while, and you're very close to falling down. Just needs to be careful with this right front wheel. That cannot go over the edge. Then we're in trouble. But Lars makes it. Small brake tap and he's through. Nicely done. Very good. Why is wet wheels required before doing the jump into the pool? I don't know if it's required, actually. I feel like people take them because you don't know how it works without them. It might still work without wet wheels. Oh, this time. Not making the first landing. Might be able to flip this. Oh. Very close. Oh no. It could still flip, maybe, but oh, this is rough. Very difficult flip to do, because it's like the wall is in front. So you will never get like a good line into it. Could be that this beam, actually the light beam that is a little bit higher on the edge, will still flip the car somehow. Elcon had this happen before on floor 8, and that one eventually weirdly ended up flipping back up. We'll see. Lars just making sure to get grip onto the beam, and we'll see if it flips somehow. Might flip back upside down. Okay. Lars too close to the wall to save that line, unfortunately. It's a reset. Reset time then. Was worth trying. Worth checking that out. Default movement, definitely. If you learned one thing about Trackmania during this whole thing, it's probably default movement, yeah. Not a very common thing to have to know about. It's really only important if you play this map or if you play Khaki. Because on Khaki maps you often also end up upside down next to the finish line, and then you just hope that the server time that you have, usually 10 minutes or 15 minutes depending on the difficulty of the map. You hope that the server time is enough for you to actually get to the finish line. It's definitely happened to me in Khaki that I've had 7 minutes left, I've turtled next to the finish line, and it has not been enough to finish. Tough times. Ixon, been doing pretty nicely. 1000 meter personal best, that is floor 9. Floor 10 a little bit higher still, so we can kind of pinpoint where exactly that is. It's gonna be the middle point. Granati with the 1048, that should be the very end. You get to the same height as floor 10 at the very end of floor 9. Just before the final tricks, so it's gonna be the next goal. Did you build the crazy booster spiral last Khaki? Yeah, the plastic tube thing. Yes. I did. Villa has a sick mind. Well, it's not like I came up with it, you know? I found it by accident. And then I figured, okay, let's try to build a map around this somehow. Still don't know what's really happening there. Most, I think, best Khaki ideas are found by accident. Any news on Hazard? Yeah, Hazard apparently might be playing off the server right now. Maybe still streaming. Has made it twice now to the quarter pipes here. Don't see him playing anymore. Okay. Fair enough. So, yeah, Hazard's next personal best will be jumping onto the beam. Bren has cleared this next section, very floor 12 pipe section, apart from this turbo wall that you line on to jump up into the pool, and then Bren has also cleared this section. Bouncing upside down from the turbos, bouncing here and there, into the pool. But this is the final part. This is the final part. No, yeah, Hazard had a very unfortunate way of failing this quarterpipe section as well. Made it all the way to the second one this time, but didn't have speed. Clipped the landing into this one. It's very easy to clip. The line you need to have to actually not clip it is very precise. So, lost the speed and then tried a recovery by taking speed and jumping back to this quarterpipe, but went too high and landed onto this lamp, and unfortunately got stuck there. So, it's a rough way to end the run. But at least now we know, yeah. There's some new information. We understand that that can happen. There's another save there as well that Bren was doing, dropping to the pool below and doing the previous part again as well. That one seems like it's gonna be the go-to strat. But more players starting to make it into floor 13 more as well. Elcon has been making it to that floor as well on solo. Hasn't been streaming today either, but judging from the height on the plugin, that's around the shortcut that you do on floor 13, so Elcon has made it there. Lars, of course, had 2 runs so far tonight, into floor 13 as well, but has been struggling just before the plastic bounce. So, no new records just yet. Maybe they are yet to come. It's interesting how, you know, you have these smiley faces on floor 2, and I feel like the more we play this map, the more these players drop down all the way. Like, you know, Lars back to the bottom. The more these floor 2 characters feel passive-aggressive, yeah? It's like, oh, hi again. You're back. Good to see you. Falling down for the 1000th time. What is gonna be sometimes Ixon to the recovery on this floor. 1 million falls so far. Quite a bit. Almost 20,000 players have played with the plugin, I suppose. Yeah, there is the even more passive-aggressive smiley face when you fall down from floor 14 or 13, I suppose, but mostly floor 14. If you mess up this quarterpipe jump, it's down to this. So Hazard actually landed here, but didn't quite get the recovery right. What you seem to have to do is go over here, land over here, and then go down all the way around, and there's a small ramp here that lets you jump up on this ring. And now you're on the part just before the big jump, before the plastic halfpipe. So, yeah. That seems to be the recovery. It's not super great. But it's something, at the very least, there is a recovery when you fail something there, because floor 11 seems miserable to drop down to, because everything is in a weird angle, there's very little ground anywhere. I guess the mappers realized this and wanted to place at least one pool there that you can land to, so you don't need to fall all the way down to floor 6, or maybe even like floor 3. Ixon. Oh, this is one of the unfortunate falls to do, and this is kind of what we've been talking about all day. Like floor 7, you fail something like this, and it's all the way down, right? Just all the way down. There's really nothing you can save yourself onto if you miss specific things. Like, here, you fall down, what are you gonna do? You can't get back here. Floor 3, floor 4, maybe. Floor 6, maybe if you're lucky. But it's like, floor 6 also has these weird angles and downhills and turbos and everything that it doesn't really feel as secure to land onto. There's no, like, not too many pools or anything. The best one you have is this one, which you can really only fall down to if you fail the snake at the specific point, if you fail something very specific on floor 9, or if you fail something on floor 10, which you would hope if you fail, for example, the ice spin on floor 10, that you actually manage to get it far enough that you can fall down, if not on the dirt on floor 10, then at least on this platform on floor 9. So like falling down 5 floors is pretty rough as a punishment. Floor 8, so much more recoverable. So much more scenery, so many more like flat surfaces that you can land to, so many more pools. Just overall so much better. But yeah, it's pretty tough. Pretty tough, you know. You said in before that wood walls are a bit gross due to high grip. Are mappers purposely using it for this gross behavior? Well, I mean, so this is a new thing. Previously, the wooden walls, like these, would have the same surface as this. The normal roadblocks, as they're called, tarmac, basically. So this surface and this surface used to be the same. In last November, about a half a year ago, that changed, and the devs added a new wooden surface in the game, which is the super high grip surface. And they figured that, okay, well, there can only be one wood surface for some reason, who knows. It was a whole thing back then. So now this works also the same way. So I think there's two things that have happened. One is that a lot of this decoration was already built, which is why, you know, we have these walls over in the decoration, in the scenery. So they didn't want to change it because there's a lot of these blocks, right? A lot of these walls, and you don't want to start changing absolutely everything on the map because of a patch, right? So that's probably reason one, and reason two, they definitely needed to like adjust some parts. They definitely needed to like rebuild some sections. That's for sure. But I do think that they kind of figured like, okay, you can get some weird grip things here, but it can be like goofy and sort of funny sometimes. And you only do it if you make a mistake, I suppose. So I guess there's like some level of intentionality, that's a word, to it. But I feel like mostly it was just that everything was kind of built and it doesn't really change too much to play the map the same way. Even though the surface of those walls is different now. I don't think they purposefully placed any walls to punish the players. There is, of course, like at least one section, which is this part on floor 13, that is definitely like a gameplay element on this new wood, right? This seems to be the one. And also, you could say that the turbo walls that Viro has been using on floor 14 is also the same, right? That is kind of the same idea, where, if I can find one, here. This one is the normal surface So this one has been replaced with the tarmac surface, but I think there was one, wasn't there, where it was different? It's the second one, right? Yeah, this one, this turbo, this is the wooden surface, right? So has to be intentional because this is a gameplay element, right? It has to work like this. So I do think there was quite a bit of rebuilding since last November because of this change, but I think overall it probably didn't affect it too much. I don't think they did like too many changes just to mess with the players or anything. Currently, Bren has the Volta card. It's looking good. You think Plexus's bones was easier before wood got weird? I mean, probably, yeah. But maybe it was different. It could have been completely different to begin with. Nadio is the ones making changes to mess with the players. That's what it feels sometimes. How long was the team working on Deep Deep 2? I'm not 100% sure. Jumper maybe knows. We didn't use any new wood. Intentionally, it was forced by Nadio. Yeah. But it's like intentionally in the sense that you didn't replace every single wooden block with something else, right? The top competition is pretty tight. Lars has been doing really nicely today as well. Getting to floor 13 but not yet clearing it. Hazard has made it through 13 twice today. Bren earlier today, I think 3 times through, or at least, you know, was able to recover on the same run and get back there. Made it the furthest as well. Bren looking very strong. By the time we could convert back, Complexity already fixed its floor. Yeah, okay. Any updates on Virtual? Virtual, still trying to get those floor 12 runs going. Trying to work through that floor. Getting into floor 13. No, I do think it's good that at the very least we as players know what the surface is on this map. Oh, Lars. Tough mistake. Oh, missing the pool as well. That's what it's gonna be. Hazard is really strong. Has been very good. Has been very nice. For sure. Okay, a bit of a quiet time on the server, I suppose. It could be time for us as well to call it. Maybe. Maybe that could be plan. Doesn't feel like we're close to the end. I think when we get to floor 15, then it's gonna feel like, you know, you actually might have a chance of like finishing the map pretty soon. And when players start getting to floor 16, then you have to ask like, okay, is it gonna be this run? So yeah, it's getting close. Do you have an underdog that you think could also make it? For sure. Like, it really depends on who puts the time in. I feel like even Stimo could be able to catch up still. Because I think a lot of the later stuff that we're seeing really suits Stimo's skillset as well, but currently still trying to get the floor 10 ice stuff down. So it really depends on that. Really depends how those go. Floor 15 also looks really tough. We'll have to wait and see how this goes. Kuba's floor. Very tricky. All kinds of things. This landing especially scares me. There's a pool below, but only covers so much. I don't know. This whole thing looks pretty worrying, honestly. And the dragon. It's cool though. Cool dragon. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Floor 16. Probably has a bunch of weird stuff too. We're gonna scout it, I think, fully when the players get there, or when the players get to floor 15. Then we're just gonna check everything at the end. And then... final jump. It's fairly close. So just for context, Bren has been here. This quarter pipe block that we see over there, that's where Bren last was. So from there, Crown is there, yeah? So to put it into full perspective, we'll look at the entire thing. Bren has been to where I'm pointing with the mouse right now. So we're getting dangerously close in a sense, but of course a lot of difficult stuff still remaining. Well, we'll see. I don't think, like, my prediction still is that it's not gonna be this week. Probably not. But next week, that could be closer. Oh, I see, jumper. Okay. Floor 15 looks pretty long, actually. Bren said maybe this week. Oh, okay. So Bren pretty quickly changed the take. We'll see about Deep Dive 3 once this one is done, I think. Thanks for the stream. As a newbie, I really enjoy your insights. Glad to hear. That's why we're here. That's why we do these. Okay. Oh yeah. Manchi already confirmed TP3. It could just take like a different form, yeah? It might not be the same... might not be the same thing as this kind of a tower. I suppose. Okay. We're gonna call it here. I will... throw this to one of our deep dip players. Who is gaming? Twitch working? Seems to be working. I threw it to have a yesterday. Maybe stealth. Maybe stealth. Has been grinding, trying to reach some new heights all the time. It's cool to follow someone like more casual, a bit of a newer player, trying to get some, you know, new PVs and trying to climb up. That could be a good one. Let's do that. Let's do that. It's been playing on this server as well. So, alright. Thank you guys for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed. And, yeah, we'll be back tomorrow evening again. Maybe around the same time, but I think starting after that, I'll also start doing a little bit earlier sessions so that we can catch the progression from Bren also. That would probably be a good idea at this point. Now that we're getting closer, so we'll see. But yeah, probably starting on Thursday, we'll also start a little bit earlier with this. Okay, but yeah, very much appreciate all of you. Thank you for tuning in, and we're gonna be back tomorrow again. Wish you all a good night. Take care, and I will talk to you soon.